So the United States oil fund is currently down over 20%. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. And just like we talked about in yesterday's video, oil has reached its max storage capacity. A lot of people just didn't understand my explanation of what exactly is going on and how is oil selling for less than zero. So to put it in very simple terms, there is the production of oil, right? And they have to store this physical oil somewhere. Demand of oil has been so low, crude oil has been so low due to this overall pandemic and just overall production, that because of how much they're producing and because demand being so low, the physical product of, in a sense, oil and crude oil, they have to store it in these containers. Once they reach max capacity, which they're about 1 month out, it's gonna be very bad news. So with that being said, as of right now, that they are actually paying other storage facilities to actually take the oil off their hands so they can have more space for the overall oil that they are currently producing right now. That's the easiest way I think I can put it for you, and I really hope that that makes sense. With that being said, after I made yesterday's video, so many people were asking, well, is it time to invest in oil right now? And I want to give you just my opinion on both day traders and long-term investors. So for us day traders, just like I talked about in yesterday's video, I talked about not only stocks, but a series of ETFs that go up when oil goes up and that go up when oil goes down. Another one that I want to introduce to you guys is ticker symbol SCO. This one's up over 50% today, which means that when oil drops, this one actually goes up. In comparison to USO and WTI, so USO is the United States Oil Fund, which goes down, of course, as the overall prices of crude oil go down, right? In comparison to WTI, which of course did have a 4% drop today, but wasn't as influenced as, the United States Oil Fund. But both of them are showing very bearish patterns, and as long as crude oil continues to drop, then these two will most likely follow. One of the things that I want to remind you is that I hope that you guys understand that right now that there is this oil war between Saudi Arabia and Russia. They have not been able to come to an agreement, and they are the two powerhouses when it comes down to the overall production and supply of crude oil. So as long as they don't come to an agreement, one of the things that I read is that they have enough capital to sustain this kind of war between themselves for at least 6 years. So understand that although, just like you, I want oil prices to return so we can, in a sense, begin to invest in USO, WTI, and it just begins to make sense, right? We can invest in companies that, in a sense, have a big focus on oil, like ExxonMobil, BP, and stuff like that. With that being said, you need to understand, and all you have to do is begin to inform yourself that if you see this to be a great opportunity, since oil prices haven't been this low since, if I'm not mistaken, 1983, I would agree with you. There's no question that there's a great opportunity among us. With great opportunity comes great responsibility, and I think it's only in your best interest that if you're actually interested in learning more about what oil has to offer, it's not just asking me every question in the book to try to figure it out, but doing your part as a trader or doing your part as a long-term investor to begin to educate yourself on what needs to happen for oil prices to recover. With that being said, for our long-term investors, one of the things that I'm doing is I do see a lot of value in the very aggressive drop that we saw in crude oil, especially how it's had a negative influence on huge corporations such as ExxonMobil and BP. With that being said, I'm building a watch list of companies that I see very undervalued that offer a lot of upside potential, but as of right now, as things are not getting better, it just wouldn't make much sense for me to invest in them right now. Obviously, if you're a long-term investor and you see a lot of value in them right now, I would just take into consideration your position size and hope that, with the idea that you don't go all in, as again, it can continue to sell off before it overall begins to recover. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you do your part in getting in and getting out when it makes sense to you and only you. It doesn't have to make sense to me. When it comes down to our short-term traders, a very common misconception that a lot of, again, day traders have is that they think that their day trades can just turn into swing trades. One of the things that I want to remind you is I would never long-term invest into inverse ETFs. So I talked about one yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and it's DTO, which is an inverse ETN for crude oil, meaning that it goes up when overall crude oil prices go down. Another one that I want to introduce you to, and I'm actually going to link it down below so you can take time to learn a little bit more about how it works. I want you to do your own due diligence to either determine if this is an ETF that you want to partake in or not. ETFs, of course, can come at a greater form of risk, so you need to understand that. This is ticker symbol SCO. The really cool thing I like about this is that this one's up over 50% on the day already. One of the things that I do want to remind you is that it did get halted multiple times today, meaning that it was moving so quickly that they had to halt it and then resume trading. That comes at a risk. You need to learn how to walk before you run, and you need to be someone that can keep up with that movement and that momentum. And if you're not someone that is ready for that, or you trade with too much, just understand and know your place, that again, you need to learn how to walk before you run. And I'm gonna repeat that over and over again until it sticks and makes sense to you. At the end of the day, you wanna make sure that you take trades or that you take investments that are in your best interest, and that you understand that either you make a profit or you can learn from your mistakes because you understood what went wrong. When you trade based off of someone else's opinion, then again, I don't think there's any positive takeaways in that. You just feel like you kind of got robbed because you have no understanding of what just happened. So make sure moving forward, if it comes down to any stock that you plan to invest in long term or any short-term day trade, do your part as a trader or as an investor to inform yourself about the risk involved, and don't just be so sold on the idea that of how much money you're gonna make, because at the very end of the day, anyone can make money in this market, but it's can you do it consistently, and do you understand what it is that you're doing? And that's what I pretty much want to leave you with. So I wanted to talk about, for our long-term investors, that as of right now, we don't know how long this can continue to drop, as again, Saudi Arabia and Russia have not came up to an agreement. With that being said, as prices continue to drop, I also wanted to provide you with a series of ETFs that go up when oil prices go down. And in that case, that is DTO, as I talked about yesterday. And then the new one is SCO, which is up over 50% today. So I really hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. Please make sure that you understand your place and your overall experience level before you jump on in and you think that you have it all figured out. If you have any questions whatsoever, throw that down in the comment section and I'll do my part in responding to it. And also, if there are any inverse ETFs or stocks that you are watching that are influenced by crude oil, drop them down in the comment section, because I'm sure not only myself, but a lot of the viewers can definitely benefit from building their watch list during a time when there is so much opportunity presenting itself. So like always, team, continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. Don't forget to stay connected. Join our free Facebook group. That's going to be that second link down below. We are the largest Facebook group in the world for those who invest in the stock market, with over 261,000 members. And again, that is one link away. Also, if you guys want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow is the crude oil report. And again, that's going to be that third link down below. I trade live every single morning with the Learn Plan Profit group. We had an amazing live trading session. I had 2 guests with me today. I had Weston and Nick actually tune on in with me, and it was just an amazing and fun time. So again, if you guys want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, click that third link, learn a little bit more about the Learn Plan Profit group, and see if it's a good fit for you. Like always, team, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.